really got it bumping.
Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Put a dude in this place, he out cold. With a tombstone, grapple the waist, get laid flat. Can't escape, nowhere to go, the cage match. It's on now, when I spot him, it's no problem. Everybody stone cold till they hit with the rock bottom. Sharpshooter, I won't miss him like Bret Hart. Like Al Snow, they gon' need him a head start. I just might catch a better body than Mickey James. Get acquainted with the name, we bringin' the pain. Like Kane in the ring, all I see is red. Paul era, Undertaker, I can see the dead. John Cena putting hands in your face. Ted DiBiase, keep a milli on the waist. B2TF, better stay in your place or get smacked down, play it safe. What you talking about?
Welcome to another edition of Boot to the Face, powered by FullPressCoverage.com. Go there for all your sporting wants and needs, where I am sure they will talk about what the fuck happened in sports this week. The NFL salary cap went up by $30 million.
Ah, the rich get richer.
Yeah, so that's good. So your favorite team should be able to sign your favorite players if they want to. They have no excuse. Because usually the cap goes up by like 3 or 4 million. It went up 10 times that this year. So if your favorite players walk, blame ownership.
I know, right?
Especially all them running backs. You see that fucking list? Derrick Henry, Eckler, Saquon Barkley, Tony Pollard. None of them will be franchised this year. They will all become unrestricted free agents.
Oh, wow. I mean, Saquon Barkley, I don't think he was ever that guy like that. He's like the running back. He got like big spurts, but if you bottle him up, then
I disagree. I would love Saquon Barkley in Dallas.
I mean, it would be like I said, he's like a good, if he was paired up with a workhorse running back.
I think he is the workhorse. I just think in New York, there wasn't shit else. You just had to stop him.
Well, they did a pretty good job of that. And Derrick Henry, of course, he's a beast, but I think he's probably on his downside.
I take Derrick Henry at a good price. I take Derrick Henry. I of all of those, I think Austin Eckler would probably be the best one, but he's so injury prone.
I'd take Henry at depending on what he's asking for. I wouldn't throw the bank at him.
If the prices were right, I think I'd go Barkley, Henry, then Eckler. I don't want Tony Pollard back. Like, he proved this year that he can't be the main guy.
I do Henry, Barkley, Eckler, and then Pollard.
Nah, I wouldn't do Pollard. I'd draft. I wouldn't even bring him back. But yeah, fullpresscoverage.com. All your sporting wants and needs. But we got a lot to get into, EJ. I mean, you were at Collision again. Like, I feel like AEW just lives in Missouri.
I know, right? I feel like I've been there a bunch of times, like 3 times in a very small window. But yeah, they were back. This is their first time in Springfield, so that was cool.
We got Street Clothes of the Week for the wrestler. We got Power Rankings. We got AEW Revolution predictions. It's Revolution Week. I'm excited about that. And we got to talk about Elimination Chamber, man. So whatever you want to get into first, we will get into it.
We probably should go like chronological order, I guess. Elimination Chamber this past weekend.
5 a.m. start time on the East Coast. Did you wake up and watch it live?
I did.
Wow.
Me and you were chatting back and forth doing it.
I was half asleep, so I can't remember if you were awake. I woke up, turned it on. The pre-show was on. I got there just in time to see the end of Indy Hartwell and Candace lose to the Kabuki Warriors. I had a little fucking Bloody Mary station over here. Made some pancakes. It was all right. I was a little under the weather, which I still am, if you can't tell by my voice. My kids weren't here. My, girlfriend was at her place. So I was just kicking it. And I stayed awake through the whole show until the men's Money in the Bank, till the men's Elimination Chamber came on. I fell asleep like halfway through it. I woke up with Drew McIntyre winning.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Man, you woke up early. I didn't make it for any of the. Well, I guess they only had one pre-match show or whatever. Uh, I stayed asleep on my couch on purpose. 'Cause if I were in my bed, I probably wouldn't have made it. And I think I woke up on like my own. I don't think I even alarm set me up. This was the lights were still on, and when I looked at the clock, it was like 3 minutes until because it was 4 o'clock Central Time, so it was like 3 minutes
Yeah.
before four, and I'm like, oh, I guess that's perfect timing. Guess I'm up for this. And then I
Yeah.
flipped it on. I made some mimosas, uh, made a little omelet, and I was good to go.
It was very so it was like an event. Like I noticed on Twitter a lot of wrestling fans that I follow and follow us were all awake watching it. Like it was a thing. But at the end of it, I was just like, I could have missed this show. Like it was so predictable, which is good sometimes. But for a show like that, I think what it was really missing was the bloodline.
Yeah.
No bloodline members on, not even Jimmy and Solo showed up.
I know, right? Yeah, that was kind of a head scratcher. Some people thought the Rock was gonna come or Roman. Roman, and for the listeners, Rucker had his hand up, but Roman. I mean, maybe, but if it was a Saudi bag, he would have went. But the Rock, that's a stretch. I mean, the most notarized and notable person in the planet as far as entertainment goes. I don't think he was gonna fly to Australia. That's a
Why
long.
not?
I mean, unless they're gonna drop the bag for him to go.
He's on the board of directors. Why would he not? So, I mean, we'll get into this later, I guess. I don't want to veer too far off of it, but I thought The Rock was going to be there, especially after that backstage promo he cut talking about if Cody and Seth start talking shit about him, like he's going to show up. I'm like, oh, well, he's definitely going to be there. And then when Austin's Theory started imitating him, I'm like, all right, in a minute now, like they can cut The Rock's music, and it never fucking hit. And that just like, I wasn't there, but I feel like that just sucked the wind right out of the crowd when The Rock didn't show up.
I mean, that's their own fault if they thought he was gonna be there. I mean, he's on the board of directors, but it's not like he's a officer. The board of directors appoint the officer. The board of directors, they doing the big meetings, but not flying all over the world with the company.
He's not just your regular board of director, EJ. He's an on-air talent. He's in the biggest storyline in your company right now, going into the biggest show in your company. He's not just some fucking guy with a suit on that works in Stamford, Connecticut. Like, he's not your everyday board of director. This is The Rock.
I get your point, but it's not like he's just some regular on-air talent like a Grayson Waller. He picks and chooses what he wants to do. He doesn't have like a regular talent contract saying he got to go on the road with.
He's about to be on the next 3 SmackDowns. Like, he's here. The Rock is back. This isn't a one-off. Like, I don't think he's just going to be around for Mania and then he's going to ride off into the sunset. Like, I think he's going to be around for a while. He should have had his ass in Australia.
I don't think he's gonna disappear after Mania either, but that's not a easy trip. Australia, that's a far trip.
How much are they paying this motherfucker? I don't care how far it is.
We don't know.
Everybody else did it.
Yeah, I wasn't mad that he wasn't there. I didn't think he was gonna show up, so it is what it is.
I think it let the air. I think the show would have been a lot better if Roman and Rock would have rolled up on Cody and Seth. Because what was the point of that segment?
Filler.
Exactly, just to have Cody and Seth there because they felt like they were shortchanging Australia, Perth, after not having a show there for 40 years. So get The Rock and at the very least get Roman to go there.
Yeah, you would have think that Roman would at least be there, but he wasn't. No, that's the one. Like, I'm more kind of taken aback by. Not really taken aback, but like, antennas up a little bit. Why wasn't Roman there? What else he has to do? He's not out there with a million hats like The Rock.
I know Jay's not on the same level as Roman and The Rock, but I feel like that was a loss too for Australia. Like there were people, I follow some people from Australia that were there and they wanted Jay Uso to be there and he wasn't. They wanted Gunther to be there and he wasn't.
I mean, They flew, well, it tied into Angle. They flew AJ Styles all the way over there just to pop up for 5 seconds and dip.
Right.
But
I
yeah, I don't
don't
know.
when you
Jimmy's wife was there. I'm surprised Jimmy wasn't there.
when you think about it, like there was a lot of stars left off of this show, and this was the first show ever in Perth, I think, or at least in decades. I don't know. I think they did kind of get gypped.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like they have pretty solid reviews. So, I
Yeah.
mean,
I,
it is what it is. I mean, I thought the show was just okay, but we talked about this before, how ridiculous some things got in the Vince McMahon era. Like, maybe it's a wear off in a few years, but even if it's just a solid show, like they just want things to make sense. So I think they could get away with that. Just having like an okay show, nothing bad, but nothing like blow people out of the water. And I feel like
yeah.
they after they had the string overseas one where they were just knocking it out the park, the Sammy one and the Bad Bunny one. But then I think in the fall they had a couple of ones like a Fast Lane that were like they were solid, but nothing mind blowing. And I think that's where they're at right now.
This was probably the least memorable overseas PLE that they've had since they started doing that.
Oh yeah, definitely overseas.
Yeah. And even the crowd wasn't, and it was a bigger arena or bigger stadium. So maybe if you're in person, it sounds a lot better than it came through on TV. But even on TV, like the crowd didn't come, like that crowd, I can't remember where they were when it was the Usos versus Roman and Solo. Like that crowd was fucking lit. Um, but yeah, let's run through the matches real quick. You had the women's elimination chamber match. Becky Lynch gets the win. She's headed to WrestleMania. Very predictable, but honestly, it was either her or Bianca. I don't think there was anybody else in there that won. But you did have a new star was born. I've been talking about it for months. I can't remember if you were on the bandwagon or not, but I've
No,
been talking about Tiffy time for a while now.
I I have not been on the bandwagon, but I'm not a hater. I mean, you got to give it to her. I felt like she's always been ahead of her, you know, curvature, as they would say, as far as like in ring stuff. Seems like she's pretty fluid and seems like
She
she got
definitely
it
got
like
some
that.
curvature.
Hey, now, but as far like I gotta see some more with her on the mic for some reason. Maybe it's not her fault. Maybe she can't help how her voice is. It's just some of it sounds a little bit robotic from what I've heard in the past as far as like cadence and stuff on the mic. But like you said, the crowd was really into her. So we'll see if it was just the Australia crowd or you think that would translate over to the US crowd too.
It's
I don't know.
it's one thing wrestling fans are gonna like, and that is a hot blonde woman. And if she can wrestle too, she's gonna be over. Which she can do all of that. She's got really good charisma. She's got really good timing. Uh, her little when she pinned Naomi and they zoom in on her, she just goes toodles. Like I laughed so hard. I don't know if it's because I was half asleep, but I remember that shit made me laugh so hard. But she was like, she's physical. Like she's not, you know, she's hot, right? She's a hot woman. She ain't scared to fucking be brutal either, right? Like we saw that with her and Becky at No Mercy. So I think, and I've said this before, I think Tiffany is what WWE wanted Charlotte to be. Just that blonde, statuesque, really good wrestler that gets over with the crowd. I don't think Charlotte ever got like they woo when she comes out, but I don't think she'll ever be as over as Tiffany's going to be in the next couple of years.
I mean, they probably already think that I don't know how to word this. uh, Obviously they think that Charlotte is where you think Tiffany's going to be because they keep putting her positions like that. But
That's what I'm. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say that's what I mean by that's what WWE wants her to be. They keep trying to force her there. Tiffany's just gonna get there, and I think that's the difference. I think there's other comparisons you could make to it, but yeah, I think Tiffany is what they wanted to happen with Charlotte, and it just never got there for whatever reason. But I think the sky's the limit for her. I really do. And like I said, the fact that she's a hot blonde white woman is not gonna hurt her at all. Like that's only gonna get her more grace with the fan base because it's one thing wrestling fans like hot blonde women.
So a couple things. So I guess you're saying in the aspect of like babyface, you think they want Charlotte to be like out of this world as a babyface?
No, just to be able. Charlotte's really athletic, right? And she's her and Tiffany and to an extent, what Rhea used to look like. They're all about the same, just like more statuesque. At least Charlotte was before she like changed a few times. More statuesque, blonde, athletic women, right? To where they could be the poster child, right? Like for whatever reason, and it's well documented, WWE didn't want Becky Lynch to be the face of the women's division. I really don't think they like Rhea Ripley being face of the women's division. They want cookie cutter, and I don't mean to say that Tiffany is cookie cutter, but like they want your typical blonde white woman to be ahead of the division. Right now, they got Becky. You know, she's Irish. She's got an accent, right? They got Rhea. She's Australian with an accent, piercings, and tattoos. Bianca, you know, she's black. Yeah, they love it and they want it, but what they really want is a blonde woman on there. And Tiffany is walking into it like she's not Chelsea Green. No disrespect to Chelsea Green because I love what she's doing now, right? She's better than what Trish was at this point. Put it like that. So I
Yeah,
think she could
definitely.
be. I think she could be as big as Trish. Uh, in our Discord, which if you're not following, check out our link tree. We're active in there a lot. Mr. Chaos said she has a Mandy Rose moveset, which I disagree with, but I thought Mandy was on her way to being the new Trish Stratus until she got fired. So now that's wide open for Tiffany.
So you think that Charlotte really hasn't reached the heights of being the face of like the women's division?
No, not the way they've portrayed her to be. In the fans' eyes, I don't think Charlotte's nearly as big as WWE tries to
Well,
tell you she is.
yeah, of course not in the fans' eyes, but kind of to go back to a point I was saying, I think to get yourself to the level where you're the face of the women's division, you have to be able to work as the dastardly villain, and you have to be able to switch it over to be the baby face that people can get behind, which Charlotte can't pull off. She's just a natural heel.
Yeah.
So I guess to your point, you're saying you think Tiffany will be able to pull that off. Where if
Oh
they
yeah.
need her to be a baby face, then she's your girl.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah. So if she's able to do that, then yeah, I think she'll like you said, I think she'll surpass Charlotte if she's able to pull it off.
She's a heel right now, but she's got a babyface move set, you know?
Yeah,
Fucking moonsault, that little move she does where I don't even know the name of it, where she does that little flip into the Alabama slam.
yeah,
Like that's all babyface stuff.
yeah. Yeah, and we'll see if it translates to the U.S. crowd the next time she's out on SmackDown, and if so, then they'll probably have to strap the rocket on her. But like you said, I guess people just like blondes that they can get behind her for no reason. Look at Liv.
Liv Morgan's fan base makes me not like Liv Morgan. And I love Liv Morgan. But her fans on social media, my God. Did you see the shit where one of them like said they wish Becky's kid dies or something like that because she beat her? Like who the fuck says something like that?
People that have like eggs as their Twitter avatars.
But yeah, it's just been a constant like Becky's just stealing the spotlight and it's Liv's time. But I'm sorry, like, and EJ will tell you if you're new here. I'm a big Liv Morgan fan. He doesn't like her. I like Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan's not WrestleMania. She's Backlash. She's Survivor Series. She's Money in the Bank. She ain't WrestleMania.
Um,
And that's no
Go
that's
ahead.
no like disrespect to her. Like I love Liv Morgan, but you can't put Liv Morgan in a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. That's not hitting for anybody.
I mean, you said something a couple of seconds ago. She's stealing the spotlight. Becky stole the spotlight from her. Didn't Liv say that yesterday on Raw?
Yeah.
So
You know
maybe
what's
Yeah, maybe she's echoing what people have been saying on Twitter.
You know how wrestlers are now. They listen to what their fan base says and they try to incorporate it on TV to make it louder. Um, but that's also untrue. Like Becky hasn't gone for the title in almost 2 years. Like she's been a tag team champion. She's been wrestling with uh people like Zoe Stark and Liv Morgan and Tiffany Stratton. Did anybody know who Tiffany Stratton was before Becky Lynch went down there and wrestled her and had that series of matches versus her? Like, unless you watched NXT, you didn't know shit about Tiffany Stratton. That shit put her on the map. Becky's been doing Zoe Stark's best match with Becky Lynch. Trish Stratus' best match in probably 20 years. Becky Lynch. Becky hasn't even sniffed the title. Oh,
Yeah.
she may have defended the NXT title more times than Rhea has in a year, though, with her title, but I digress.
I mean, and to go back to you said I dislike Liv. I don't dislike her. I just don't see what the hype is. She seems like she's just there. She's not bad. Like I'm like get her off my screen, but the people that hype her up, I
Yeah,
dislike them because
yeah.
she's a good hand, and like I said, like you said, I don't see her as main event in a big four as far as the women's slot goes.
I just find it odd. Like, it's one thing to say that your favorite is like, she's my favorite. I think she deserves this. But when you start saying other people aren't as good that are way better than them, like, your argument then becomes like, you turn into one of those people that nobody listens to because you just invalidated. When you start telling me that Liv's better than Becky Lynch, like, you might like her more. She ain't better. She
And,
definitely ain't WrestleMania.
and what universe is she better? I just want to know what metric are they referring to when they say that?
Twitter.
Yeah, but what like are they giving like an explanation or are they giving
No,
some evidence?
they just got a little wanna be beehive of Liv supporters.
I've never seen her put on a 5-star classic, and I never remember a promo that she's done that resonated with me. That I'm like, oh man, she was spitting fire on that one. So where is she better at? I want to know.
And
At
I
me,
agree with you.
hit me up on Twitter if you could give me an answer for anybody listening that knows one of these people.
And I completely agree with you with all of that. Like, I like Liv. I think Liv is a good underdog story. Like like we talked about last week, but you got to move past that. You won Money in the Bank. You beat Ronda Rousey twice. Like, you were a champion. You're no longer the underdog. Stop all the fucking like pouting and shit like that. Honestly, I feel like she's about to turn heel.
Yeah, I think so too. Seems like, they were laying the groundwork yesterday. And I wouldn't be mad at that. Show me your range. Let's see what you can do. She hasn't been a heel since was she Absolution or Riot Squad? Well, she's Riot Squad.
Riot Squad. Yeah.
Yeah, never
Who's
seen her heel.
Absolution?
Mandy, Paige, and Sarah was Sarah Logan Riot or
No, it was
not Sonya Deville.
Sonya Deville. Yeah, Absolution.
Yeah. It was like basically a mirror each other. They had one on Raw, one on SmackDown. That's why I usually always mix them up. But yeah, besides that, like you said, Tiffany was the star of the chamber. Yeah, live in a spot. What I was a little surprised, didn't Naomi get eliminated first?
Yeah, she did, but it was like 15 minutes into the match also.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of her feeling now that she's back? You think she'll ever get a run with one of the titles?
I think she will. I think right now, man, the WWE's women divisions is really fucking good right now.
Yeah, right now they're definitely cooking right now.
And
Uh,
there was sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's interesting with Rhea really having a stranglehold. She's almost coming up on a year, which is crazy on that woman's world title. I think it kind of, you know, yeah, puts a hold on like other women's ceiling on maybe getting that title. I don't know how long they're gonna have Rhea have it.
Till WrestleMania. Uh
Okay, bold prediction.
she it's been a very lackluster women's title run for Rhea. Like, has she had a match where you're just like, that was a really good fucking title match? The match
Charlotte.
she won against, where she took the title from Charlotte, that was a good match. But since then, her during her title run, like, has she had like a standout match? Like, I can't even remember all her opponents. I know she fought Zelina Vega. You knew she wasn't gonna win. Didn't she fight Natalia,
Probably. I can't even remember.
Nia Jax? Um,
I mean, she hasn't really, but
and it's been
people
a year.
people named her on Women's Wrestler of the Year at the end of last year. So I guess they're not taking really the in ring into consideration. They're just taking character work. And I guess I feel like you got to do both.
They're taking gifts into it, and you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And she's leaning into it too. She was in a fucking a submission hold and started twerking, and it was a gift.
Really.
Like, you didn't see that when I think what's the move called where like Rhea's like on her stomach and Nia's got one of her legs behind her head.
Oh, I
And
saw that one. Yeah, I saw that one.
yeah, and Rhea's like on the ground and she just starts shaking her ass for no fucking reason.
I
And it's
didn't
like
see
a
that part of it.
yeah, there's a gift going around of it, and it's like that that's not even selling. She literally just like moving her ass around,
Was
and
it
that's
subtle or was it egregious?
you'd have to go find the gift. Um, but I think Becky and Rhea is going to be really good. The promo last night was good on. I thought Becky did better than Rhea did, but Rhea will get credit because she said "mommy's on top," which cool. Like again, leaning into sexuality type stuff, which I'm okay with. But don't fucking come to me when I start liking it. And y'all like, you're such a pervert. Like, I'm sorry. She's the one that said it. What was I supposed to think?
So are we only gonna get good matches out of Rhea and WrestleMania? It's like you get one a year, I guess.
Yeah, probably. Um, I
When
think
we gonna give Dom Mysterio his flowers? Because I don't think she would be as over as she would without Dom.
I said that a while ago.
I know, but I'm just kind of echoing your sentiments.
Yeah. Dom's the guy. Like,
People hate him so much. They want to cheer him and they like her little, I don't want to call it cut, like the dominant sub whatever relationship they have on screen.
yeah, her
People are
Latino.
perverts. Like you said, people are just perverts, I guess.
I mean, I kind of like that shit too, though.
You heard it here first on Boot to the Face.
I'm joking. I like seeing other people do that. I'm not a fucking sub or whatever. I don't even know what all that shit means, really. I don't know what adjective I'd be described as. Old. Next matchup was the tag team title match, right? Yeah. I mean, we kind of knew this was gonna happen. Mustache Mountain lost to
Mountain. That's Trent Seven. He's not even in company anymore. Training Tyler Bate.
what were their name? I thought they were Mustache Mountain.
Eh, Catch. They just got a new name.
New
Catch.
Catch Republic.
Yeah. Boot Catch Republic or something like that.
But they used to be Mustache Mountain, right?
Nah,
Weren't they?
That's Trent Seven.
No, there was three of them. It was Seven, it was Tyler Bate, and it was Pete Dunne. They were a clique.
I don't think Pete Dunne has ever had a mustache.
Maybe you're right, maybe. But they were in some kind of group.
I know they were opponents a lot.
Maybe.
I'm looking at the page. Yeah, it said it's just trending Tyler. I'm looking at their official, not official page, but they were
Was there not a group with Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, and Trent Seven?
now that okay. So it's looking like there's a group in before they were in WWE.
British Strong Style?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I didn't watch them in there. I didn't know any
It
of
was
them until they're in WWE.
NXT UK, right? Or
From
was that overseas?
what I'm looking at, it's saying that like progress, but I'm like skimming
Okay.
over it. I'm not.
Yeah. Yeah, they were British Strong Style. That's what it was, not Mustache Mountain. My bad.
Yeah, British
Um,
Strong. That's what they're saying. That's what they were in progress. British Strong style. So
speaking of
you weren't wrong in a sense.
speaking of cool names, we got quote tweeted by one half of the grizzled young vets over the weekend when I was watching TNA. I said something like, how does one become a grizzled vet while remaining young or some shit like that? And I didn't even tag him in it. I just said it. And he quote
Dang.
tweeted me and he was like, you got to start wrestling at the age of 12 or some shit like that. But that was
Hey,
cool. That was funny.
wait, shout out to them. I mean, somehow I fit no surrender in my weekend. It was solid.
Yeah, No Surrender was pretty good. The matches that I did watch. That was one of them. That was why I fucking tweeted the fucking suicide dive into the doomsday device on the outside of the ring. Oh my God. That was so dope.
I mean, I can't even remember that. I gotta
It
go
was
back and see
it was the Grizzled Young Vets and
versus ABC. I saw the match, but
ABC, yeah. And you know the Legion of Doom, the move they would do where they pick them up on the shoulders. They were outside the ring and one guy had him on the shoulders and the other guy did a suicide dive into the clothesline. I was
ah,
like, these motherfuckers about to win the tag titles, but Bullet Club came through.
yeah.
Chris Bay is next, by the way. That's another thing I tweeted. Like he needs to once they lose the titles and they start wrestling singles, like he needs a world title shot like yesterday.
I mean, we'll see. Apparently, Tommy Dreamer has the pen now. No, I'm not a biggest fan of him, but I
Yeah.
guess we'll see what happens. But yeah,
Uh ne-
that tag team match was fine. I mean, like you said, we knew it was going to happen. I think you think they're setting up Truth to get a title shot at WrestleMania.
yeah, it'll probably be Miz and Truth. Which is, after watching that tag team match last night between Imperium and New Day, like
Mhm.
give me a four-way match, elimination. Because Truth and Miz, although it'll be a good story, New Day's we can't forget New Day's a good fucking tag team.
Yeah,
And they made Imperium look really good last night. Way better than him. Kaiser's always looked good, but Da Vinci's been kind of like lackluster over the past year or so. But even he's like stepping his game up now. Shout out to Kaiser, by the way.
tippy time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the right team won, I think, last night, and like you said,
Not during February.
you're right. I take that back. We still got a couple more days, and we get an extra day this year.
Yeah, extra Thursday. That means somebody on TNA is gonna lose his black now.
Tommy Dreamer do the right thing, like Spike Lee. Um, but
I,
yeah, I
I've
think
never seen that movie. That's what
me
Tommy
neither.
Dreamer would. That's what Tommy Dreamer would tell you. I've never seen that movie.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? But yeah, going back to your theory of the four way, might as well. Like, you know what else they think they're gonna do? I think they planted seeds. I think Gunther is probably gonna have a multi-man match as well.
I think Logan Paul will. I don't think Gunther will.
So it seems like they were teasing a number of people in his promo last night. Yeah, Sammy Lurkin, Chad Gable, and I think even somebody else was mentioned.
I think it'll be him and Sammy one on one.
Really, you give Sammy a spot alone on there?
Hey, Sammy and Nakamura was cooking last night.
Yeah, were. Uh,
A lot of good wrestling on Raw last night,
I
by the
know.
way.
There was another side note I wanted to bring up before we move on. Apparently, R-Truth has never had a one-on-one match at WrestleMania. I didn't know that.
I could believe it.
Get that man a one-on-one match just for his longevity.
He's not a one on one WrestleMania guy though.
I mean, didn't they give Daniel Bryan like a 2-second match
At
before he like blew up?
WrestleMania?
Before he blew up, didn't like Sheamus kick him in the face and that was it?
Yeah, that was AJ Lee. He kissed AJ Lee, and I remember at that time everybody was like, AJ Lee is so hot, blah blah blah. And I'm just like, she just never did it for me. But for some reason that night at WrestleMania, she stood up on the apron and kissed Daniel Bryan. I was like, I get it, y'all. I don't know what it was about that night, but I was like, I get it, fellas. Y'all are right. AJ Lee is pretty bad. And then Bryan turned around, Sheamus kicked him in the face, took the world title from him.
Hey, congrats to Phil Brooks for that.
I'd rather R-Truth get a tag team title win with the Miz than get a one-on-one match where he gets beat. Because he ain't gonna win if he gets a one-on-one match. I'd rather he get a WrestleMania moment by him getting the pinfall and winning the title at WrestleMania. Kind of like Zack Ryder won that ladder match a couple years ago. Like, here, man, for being so fucking patient with our shitty booking, getting yourself over, like always being ready, always being willing to go above and beyond. Here's your fucking WrestleMania moment.
I wouldn't be mad at that. But to tie all this up, you're saying you think that Logan Paul's going to have a multi-man match. You think they're just going to repeat Royal Rumble instead of Roman Reigns? Just put Logan Paul in there?
I don't think LA Knight will be in it or AJ Styles. I think it might just be a triple threat match with KO, Logan Paul, and Orton.
And then LA and AJ one-on-one?
Yeah, probably on the pre-show.
Pre-show. I don't even think they do pre-shows in this Triple H area with 2 nights.
All right, the SmackDown before WrestleMania then.
Well, then it's not going to be a Mania.
I don't think that program deserves to be at WrestleMania. I don't. I could
AJ Styles is a veteran that probably deserves it just for his longevity and being a in-ring guy. And
AJ Styles won WWE title matches at WrestleMania. Like,
yeah,
he's had his moments already.
I'd have to go through, and if you go through and put like 7 matches on each night, and we lay it out, and you could tell me 13 matches or 14 matches that are above that, then I might agree with you. But I have to go through my head and think about that. And then, like, if you really want to kill LA Knight's momentum, keep him off WrestleMania. But
His momentum's dead already.
I don't think so. As far as like merch, you just gotta heat him up. I feel like him and Sammy on like the same level. You just gotta heat him up that day.
I feel like he's trying really hard to be The Rock. Because I remember The Rock had that fucking weird haircut where his hairline was all the way back, and it took him forever to finally cut it down. And LA Knight's right there.
I
Like,
mean, I think that's just Mother Nature.
yeah, but I'm saying like The Rock held on for his a little too long, and I think LA Knight's held on to his a little too long. Like, it's time to cut that shit off.
In words of Charles Barkley, come on home. But
So the Cody, Seth, Grayson Waller, and Austin Theory on the Grayson Waller effect. This just made me like Grayson Waller even more. That's what they got out of this.
really, when you say that,
I just think he's fun. He's got really funny one-liners. Him and Logan Paul got really funny one-liners.
I like Logan Paul's one-liner. It just may be me being ignorant, and you kind of scold me, but you said something the last time I said this. Maybe maybe I can't get through with the accent because I didn't even catch like the little one-liners he said.
He's just funny. Like he's got really good timing. I can't think of any right now off the top of my head, but he had a couple of them during this where he just jumped in over the top of Seth and Cody talking. But the point of this was Cody challenged The Rock to a one-on-one match before WrestleMania. Everybody's saying this is going to happen night 1 of WrestleMania. Cody's exact words were before WrestleMania. Now, you can't trust Cody because his ass already lied when he said he didn't want to fight Roman at WrestleMania. Now he said he does want to fight Roman at WrestleMania. So he's untrustworthy, this guy. But yeah, Cody wants to fight The Rock, and we'll get an answer from The Rock this Friday on SmackDown.
So I guess we can unpack this while we're here already. A few things. You talked about this before. Maybe I can't remember if you talked about it on the show, but you definitely talked about it online. Is there a little bit of Cody fatigue? He's still super over, but I've been hearing like chirps online, and then even with a little bit of the crowd, a lot of people still like The Rock. So is this like the early stages of maybe people getting tired of Cody?
No, I think this is just a little bit of pushback from Rock fans. Like
Okay.
now that the dust has settled from all the Cody crybabies and they've kind of calmed down, they got their way. Now I think Rock fans are kind of pushing back, like, hey man, fuck y'all. Like, we've been waiting 4 years. Some people even say we've been waiting. Roman Reigns' whole career has been built to fight The Rock eventually. And now here we are. We had it. We had it in our hands. We had it in 40 days from 39 days from now. It was supposed to be happening. And because a bunch of motherfuckers got online and started bitching and crying, it ain't gonna happen now. And now we'll probably get that match, but we'll never get what was supposed to be.
Yeah,
Now
but
we've now
go
we've
ahead.
turned the Rock heel. Like it's not what it was supposed to be. Like the whole bloodline storyline is going up in flames now. Like it was all supposed to lead to where it was going this year. And now it's gone. And now the Rock's joined the fucking bloodline. He wasn't supposed to do that.
I mean, I know you disagree with me on this, but they just, I, I know you agree with me that the execution wasn't well, but I just think they shouldn't have had Cody win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
What was they just did, the execution was poor.
I think they panicked with the Seth injury.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't know. Like we can read all the reports we want, but I don't know that Cody was supposed to win originally. I think shit got changed when Punk got hurt. And I think they panicked because if you look at all the quote unquote reports, like Punk's supposed to win Elimination Chamber. So but if Rock was supposed to fight Roman, right? And Cody was supposed to win the Royal Rumble, and Punk was supposed to win Elimination Chamber. You're telling me the guy that won the Royal Rumble, they really thought him stepping aside and not even getting a title match was going to be okay, and nobody was going to complain about it? That
Yeah,
couldn't have been the plan, EJ. The Bloodline storyline's been too good. It's
I
been
know.
too good, too well thought out for them to think, yeah, we'll have Cody win the Rumble, but he won't get a title shot. He'll just give it to The Rock.
I mean, if you're as smart as you probably should be, if you're a booker, and I hate fantasy booking. I don't,
Yeah.
and I think I'm going to mention this at an earlier show. I don't know if you agree with it, but with all the dirt sheets out there, why couldn't they have, if they really wanted to execute as well, throw a fake story out there of Cody being nicked up, and you could and then like write him off TV, have somebody beat him down, where he missed the Rumble, have Raw come out at 30. Boom! I bet you wouldn't have had fan blowback if you did that.
Fans are too smart now, man.
If
To
even if there
me,
was reports out there that he really got injured, how did
yeah,
they got his vitals and his X-rays?
they would have still shit on it just because they would have felt something was not right. Like this is why I think fans, including us, we're too inside baseball. We know too much of what's happening backstage and all that. And I don't think that's a good thing. I don't think that's why I try to stay away from all that shit. That's why I try to just enjoy it. What's the point? What's the point of going to see Avengers Infinity War if you know Thanos is going to get the fucking Infinity Stones at the end of it?
That's true.
Because I didn't think Thanos was going to win, even though throughout the movie, like I became a fan of him. I was like, all right, they're gonna find a way to whoop his ass. And then when he won, I was like, wait a damn minute. Like, and I liked it. I liked the fact that he won. But if I knew that going in, I wouldn't have got that reaction out of it. Like, you wouldn't have had me hooked. And I think people like that do the spoilers and want to know who produced the match. And, they tell you what the WrestleMania main event's going to be in fucking August the year before. Like, well, what?
Yeah. I just don't know. Maybe like you said, maybe people think it was the Punk injury that set all this off. Maybe it was the Seth injury that set it all off. Because
Yeah,
I
because
feel
that happened first.
if the plan was to have The Rock in Roman at this year's Mania, I just don't know what they're thinking. Having Cody win the Rumble, that's just the head scratcher to me. So I don't think we'll get the story until 20 years down the line, whenever they do the behind the scenes story about it.
Yeah. The main event, we've been talking about Elimination Chamber for a long fucking time. The main event for Elimination Chamber was the men's Elimination Chamber. And the winner,
Well,
already my leading candidate for Wrestler of the Year this year, Drew McIntyre.
yeah, I mean, he's a benefactor of CM Punk. I mean, injured. I mean, who knows if he would have got the slot, but he's been hitting it out of the park. One by nefarious means, Logan Paul knocking him out. And that was a good thing that they did. They tied a bunch of storylines in the actual match. So hats off to them for that.
Drew's just he's keeping Punk relevant for one. Um, he's setting up a feud with Punk when he gets back, which is good. And he's just such a like you never cheer for the player hater, right? but he's just so damn good at it. Just his little even when he was talking to Jay last night, he's like, just so you know, like you deserve everything you're getting. And even though I love Jay Uso, I'm like, Drew's right. Like, Jay fucked a lot of people over when he was in the bloodline.
Hey, Jay had to snuff him for that one.
They'll be fighting next week, and Drew will probably beat him again.
Of course.
Because that's all Jay does is take fucking losses. But
But
Drew McIntyre gets the win, and he's wrestling Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. This has no shot at being a main event night one. Sorry.
no, it's probably going to be, unless, like you said, they book Cody and Rock night one, it's going to probably be Becky and Rhea.
It depends on if they do that tag match, like the video that they showed of Rock and Roman and Seth and Rollins. Like, I got a feeling they're gonna do a tag match.
If Cody's not working both nights, then it'll probably be Rhea and Becky.
I wouldn't mind it being Rhea and Becky, honestly. And honestly, if any of them are working both nights, wouldn't you want to be the first match out night one if you're going to be the last match out night two?
Yeah, if you get that tag team match main event in night one, then you want to throw that Becky and Rhea on first, kick the night off.
No, I'm saying you want the tag team match to be the first match.
It's The Rock, man.
It is, but you got to think of Seth's going to be working the next night versus Drew, and he's on a bad wheel. So you want to give him as much time to recover as he can. Roman and Cody, you want to give them as much time to recover as you can. It's like a playoff game, right? Like you want to be the team that wins on Saturday night. You don't want to be the team that wins on Monday night.
Nah, throw Seth and McIntyre in the middle of night two. Have Logan and whoever he faces kick off night two.
No, I'm saying night one though. The tag match kicks off and Becky and Rhea main event.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying, the reverse, have Rock main event, and then you give Seth time to recover by putting him in the middle of night two.
Yeah, I think if they could talk Rock into, and I don't think it'll be that hard. Rock's not main evented a bunch of WrestleManias that he probably should have.
No, yeah, I feel like he main evented everyone that he should, except the one with Triple H and Jericho.
Yeah, the one where he fought the Immortal Racist.
Yeah.
I feel like him and Austin's third match could have been a main event. It wasn't a main event match, but it was a main event story. Like it was the culmination of the rivalry of the two biggest fucking stars in the 90s and early 2000s.
I mean, I wouldn't have been mad at it, but I didn't like Brock should have been main event, and I think they were building Brock up, so him and Angle should have. I think him and Angle rightfully main event that one.
But if you think about it, also, if we would have known that was Stone Cold's last match for 20 years,
maybe hindsight's 2020. They say,
yeah. But people are saying, well, The Rock's ego. Like, we got to remember, The Rock was never like selfish when it came to putting over other people. Like, look at all the people that won their first world title from beating him. Look at
Brock.
Jericho, Brock, Kurt Angle, Mick Foley. Like, all these guys won their first world title from beating The Rock. Goldberg, he didn't win his first world title, but he just came in and beat the fucking Rock. Like, he had no problem putting people over.
I'll give you all of those except Mick Foley, because Brock was out of this world when Mick Foley, he was over, but he wasn't like.
It was corporate Rock. What are you talking about? That was after he had left the Nation of Domination, and he was like battling Stone Cold Steve Austin for the most popular one. Then he turned heel out of nowhere.
Yeah, but he wasn't like pop culture, like he's giving Mick Foley, he like Mick Foley was underneath them. Like I feel like at that point they were still like character wise and like popularity wise pretty equal.
No, no,
And
no.
because they were
That's
like they were
why do
trading
you think
back
Eric
and forth.
Bischoff? Yeah, after Mick Foley had won it the first time, but why do you think Eric Bischoff had Tony Schiavone be like, they're gonna have Mick Foley win the world title? What a bunch of dumbasses! And then everybody switched the channel to go watch it. Mick Foley was way beneath the Rock at that time.
I don't know about what it was Rock's first title run, and to win the title, he beat Mick Foley for it.
Yeah, I I think Rock was way higher on the pecking order than Mick Foley was then, and I think that got Mick Foley to where he is now by beating the Rock.
Even Rock was still wildly popular. But for some reason, I don't think he broke through pop culture like where even my dad knows recognizes it. I think after he was never like officially a face until after the first WrestleMania when he Austin 15, and then that summer, all right, now Rock's out of here when he did like the long-term face turn that summer, 99 summer 99, and they opened up like WWE New York and they were all over MTV. He's on Wyclef John video. I think that's when he was like out of the stratosphere.
Yeah, but what's that got to do with him not being selfish and putting somebody over?
I don't know. I think I just wanted to argue. But I'm just saying, I feel
He
like,
even put over fucking Big Nose Triple H in the Intercontinental title feud.
I feel like Vince McMahon was like, all right, Rocky put it over. I feel like any like from what you say, like Brock, like he didn't have to do that, but he did it out of his own goodwill to get somebody else to the next level, you know?
Yeah, because he knew he was leaving. He knew, like, I'm going to Hollywood. I'm not going to be around. So every time I get ready to leave, have one of these fucking young people beat me.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
let's
like
give it to the next guy. Like, he always tried to leave it better than he found it.
mm,
And now, all these years later, people are like, Rock's got a big ego. Like, he probably does have an ego, but he also, like, has no issue passing the fucking torch.
yeah. What I was probably trying to say is probably starting with the angle one. Brock probably had a choice whether he's going to put people over. That's probably the better way to word it.
Okay, I feel you. He probably had a little bit of a say-so that by the
Yeah,
time he got to Angle.
yeah, that's what I was trying to say. I just did a terrible job at articulating that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
probably looking
man.
back, he probably would have been like, okay, cool. I'll give the belt to Angle, but instead of me winning it a month before I fight Stone Cold, like give it to me at the Royal Rumble because he won it at No Way Out. So he literally had the belt for 4 weeks before he lost it again.
Yeah, Brock didn't have like long title runs.
No, it was always in the chase.
Mm,
That's where the money was.
and that's the lesson they should learn from him and Cena with Cody. I feel like if they try to make him Super Cody, I think fans will turn on him.
Yep.
But we still didn't get to the main event.
Yeah, we talked about Drew winning.
Oh, you forgot about Rhea and Naya.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Rhea beat Nia.
Oh, come on,
Surprise,
man.
surprise.
Rhea was the most
Kudos to
over
Rhea.
person. She's the most over
She
person.
was, that's like, okay. She was in Australia. Like, who they think was gonna be over?
You know, this is probably like the only time we see Rhea work like in like the comeback spot where she's getting beat down.
Oh my
Somebody that's
God.
more physically imposing than her. And
Oh my God. Some of these chicks they got in NXT just don't know what like they're so super dangerous.
that's why they're in NXT.
I'm gonna say I'm not gonna tell
Uh,
you any spoilers, but the end of the first match, the girl that looks like Tiffany Stratton that hangs out with Keanu James,
yeah. Is he Dame or something like that?
she just did some shit to is her name Kilani Jordan?
Oh yeah. I'm a fan of her. She needs some more work on the mic though. Super athletic. She's like almost like the black version of Tiffany, except a babyface version.
She's more like a Zelina Vega.
She's a little bit bigger than Zelina's tiny.
So is this chick.
I don't think she's as tiny as Zelina. I think she's over 5 foot.
No, she's tiny though.
I'd have to look up her stats. I mean, NXT,
Welcome back, Book.
Oh, he's back? I thought he was gone for good.
No, he's on there now.
Shout out the Booker T.
The Black Goat.
What they say. But yeah, Kalani Jones 5'5".
That's tiny.
Zelina Vega's underneath 5 foot. She's like 4'11". But
I don't like The Rock's daughter on TV.
why not? I bet it's better that she's in a GM role than in the ring.
They're giving her too much mic time, and I don't think she's ready.
Yeah, she needs some work on the mic. It's a little bit robotic. Maybe she'll get there.
What do you want to get to next? You want to get to street clothes of the week?
Yeah, let's get it.
The newest segment here on Boot to the Face, Street Clothes Wrestler of the Week. Who looked the best in their wardrobe? I was gonna pick Cody for this week. The little gray and black suit he had at
Mhm.
Down Under. But I rewatched Rhea and Becky last night, and I liked Becky's outfit last night.
Yeah. What she have on?
She had on like a red leather jacket, little black halter top, some red leather pants that weren't like too goofy. And apparently she's wearing a hat now every week. She got the hat over, so
Didn't Nikki Bella do something like that, or Brie Bella?
yeah, Nikki Bella wore a backwards snapback all the time.
Hey, shout out to Becky. She mentioned it, didn't she? Like, this is my new thing, the hat.
That's what I'm saying. She got the hat over, and now she's wearing it every week. But I thought Becky looked great last night. I'll leave it at that. Street clothes of the week, Becky Lynch.
It's funny that you picked her because
If you pick Seth Rollins, I'll
I'm,
hang up.
I'm picking her better half, Seth Rollins.
Get out of here.
He had the
What
drip, the purple drip, and the
get
shirt
the fuck.
open. Jacket.
This is a joke.
No, I'm serious. The jacket open, and then he had like the pants that the emo kids wore in the '90s, the baggy.
The
Yeah,
Jinkos.
yeah, he had like the suit version of those, except the emo kids used to wear black. He had the purple version of those. So, hey,
The
shout out.
reason I picked Becky was because Seth looked like absolute shit. And somebody in that household has to look good.
Seth is willing to take risks when it comes to being a fashion icon, and I'm not mad at it.
Drew sitting there trying to have a world title match, and this motherfucker jumping around with some purple Janko jeans in front of him.
With his sunglasses on.
I hope Drew kicks his fucking head off at WrestleMania.
Yeah, it's probably gonna happen. Yeah, I mean, no, I feel like I'm interested in what they do with this world title for the next year, because I feel like they used this title in the past to do this back when I guess the original 2002, to see like a heat check for like the up and comers to see if good enough to carry that candle, so to speak, of being like a world champion. Then it not work too good for CM Punk when he won it the first time because he was kind of generic. Uh, they let Jack Swagger get it, they let Dolph Ziggler get it, and then they kind of let like the veterans have like one more run with it. Doesn't that Undertaker have that a bunch of times as well? So I feel like
Batista,
yeah.
The
Well,
Rock.
I feel like when Batista had it, he made it on like almost like the same level as like John Cena, but like a few times after that, it was almost like the prove it to see if you could actually have a
No,
good run time.
Batista got it before most of the people you named.
I know that's what I'm saying. It originally it was like almost like on the same footing. I think even when the Triple H had it,
Okay, I feel you.
because like on the other side, on the SmackDown side of things, you had Angle and Cena got it, so, and they were on the same footing. And then when they kept flip flopping back in shows, I think it kind of slipped into the Prove It title, especially when Punk got it his first time. I feel like he got it super early. Then Hardy had it for a little bit, but yeah, I think they should revert to having it like that. And Drew, I think Drew's gonna win it, but this is the time where you see if a Jay Uso could do it. I know you think he should win the IC first, or like a Sammy can do it. Get a heat check on those guys. That's what the title's there for. Like you said, when we were talking about AEW, you don't need to have a year-long reign every time. It should be sometimes things happen and you only have a 6-week run or whatever.
Sorry, I'm
It's Tuesday, NXT.
no, this is what I was talking to you about earlier, the messages and whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Um, the frustration. Um, yeah, I feel you. I think they should give Drew a shot at it. And, I'm sick of hearing Drew fans and Drew himself. Like, as much as I enjoy him right now, I'm sick of hearing him whine about the pandemic era and how his moment got taken from him. Like, shut the fuck up. I don't hear the Hurt Business bitching about it. I don't hear Bailey and Sasha bitching about it. I don't hear Oscar and Kyrie Sane bitching about it. All of them that fucking carried it and got over.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you should be complaining about it. You're not the only person that won a match at WrestleMania in an empty warehouse the night before, like the day before you actually got to watch it. It didn't just happen with you. So shut up about it already, which he's finally doing. And he's killing it. Like, I've never liked Drew McIntyre. I
Oh yeah.
like Drew McIntyre right now. I've never been interested. I've never just something about him. I just never like. But right now, when he comes on my TV, I turn all my distractions off because I know he's about to. I know he's about to do some player hating petty shit, and I love every second of it.
Hey, you think since he's been doing such a good job with character work, he's gonna get a big pop if he wins it at Mania?
Oh yeah, people love Drew when he sat down crisscross applesauce because you can't say the other word now anymore.
Yeah.
When he sat down like CM Punk, you could hear the crowd being like, oh, like everybody gasped at once, like, oh shit. And he's like, yeah, since you don't drink anymore, I drank enough for both of us. You hurt motherfucker. What did he say? Like, I got a busted eardrum. What do you think? I'm gonna miss WrestleMania like CM Punk? Like, just so petty.
Hey, shout out to Drew McIntyre. Maybe we'll have a player hater of the year if we do a year end again at the end of the year. Hey, what he's doing, I mean, sometimes you just gotta scratch and claw and get yourself over by any means necessary. Because it was unfortunate that because like people were doing it all over the arenas when right before the pandemic, the 3, 2, 1, and he was on fire when he eliminated Brock. But that was 4 years ago. You can't keep bitching about everybody went through the pandemic. So get yourself over again. And so far, so good.
Let's
Hopefully,
get to our.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No,
No,
go
go ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
Um,
I was about to change the subject.
I was gonna I was gonna say hopefully we have a special guest on the show. We'll keep down the wraps until maybe it comes to fruition. But what we got up next?
Let's get the power rankings.
Okay. I think I went first last week. So I think it's your turn to kick it off.
Well, man, power rankings is going to be difficult this week, but I'll just go off the top of my head. So if I leave anybody out, I apologize. Number 5, I'm going to go with MK Ultra. Shout out to Killer Kelly and Masha Slamovich recapturing the TNA World Women's Tag Knockouts Tag Team Championships.
Okay. So you got TNA on your list.
Oh yeah,
I don't have any TNA on my list, but I'll give an honorable mention to Ali. He's like one of those he's a cult favorite, as some people like on the internet wrestling
yeah.
community. He's never my guy like that, but
I don't see it, but hey, more power to people that like him.
he won the X Division title, so he's honorable mention, but he's not on my list. My number 5 is like you said, you've always been on this bandwagon of hers, and I got to give props where props is due. Tiffany Stratton, even though she lost in the chamber, she beat Liv Morgan on the SmackDown the day before, even though it was pre-recorded. And Australian crowd loved her, so that's my number 5.
Nice.
My number 4, I know you were watching this. I'm surprised. I know you don't get to watch Collision all the time, but our boy, we always been talking about how he needs to get pushed. And watching this match live was crazy, man. It was the one that kicked off the show. Our boy Powerhouse Hobbs with the win over Sammy Guevara in a knockout, drag out street fight.
That looked like a fun match to be in attendance for. not for nothing. Will Hobbs, this motherfucker is so like, you know when a normal person wears a necklace,
Mhm.
like it just kind of goes around their neck and there's nothing. Will Hobbs' necklace looked like it goes down a cliff and then it goes around the because his fucking collarbones and shoulders are so fucking big. Like he wrestled wearing a necklace and I was just like, I don't know why I was fixated on how the necklace looked because he's so fucking big. Like I don't think I've ever seen him in person, but hopefully he's there at Revolution this week or at Dynamite. Like I want to see how big this motherfucker is. Like
Oh,
right up on you.
he's a load, man. I saw him at the Busted Open party when we were in Orlando. You couldn't make it that time, but I was just chilling with him and he was chatting with who was it like? Oh, it was this guy, man. He's an indie show guy, and we were chatting it up. And the guy, I was like, friend, I'm still friends with the dude on Facebook. Shout out to Robert. He was talking to Will House, and I was Will Powerhouse Hobbs, and I was just listening on the chat, and he was like standing right next to me. He's as big as you think he is.
Yeah.
We were
He's
like, we were like the same. I thought he was a little bit taller because like he might have been like an inch taller than me, but he like it's wide. Like
yeah.
you wouldn't want to see that man in the dark alley.
Oh, he will be at Revolution because they got a big meaty men invitational.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you talk about match? I thought you meant like a meet and greet or something.
No, I just meant
Yeah,
there, but yeah,
yeah. He's gonna be in that
I
match.
forgot about that. So that'll be fun. But yeah, that did look like a fun match to be at. Let's see. My number 4 would be hmm, I'm gonna go Drew McIntyre at number 4. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not Drew McIntyre. I'm gonna go Sami Zayn at number 4. Big win over Nakamura. And then number 3, I'll go Drew McIntyre. Wins the Elimination Chamber. Headed to WrestleMania to face Seth Rollins. Onwards and upwards.
Okay. My number 3 is the man Becky Lynch winning the women's chamber, beat 5 of the competitors. I feel like I think this is probably by design, but she kind of like chilled and took a little bit time off in the match. She wasn't like the center of attention a lot of match, which was probably by design to let everybody get to shine, but
Yeah.
she did what she needed to do.
Are you saying that Becky stood out of the way and let other people get over?
Yeah, who would have thought? Liv Morgan fan. But yeah, shout out to Becky, number 3. My number 2 was your number 3, I think. Drew McIntyre, won the men's chamber, and he's going on and upward to WrestleMania.
My number 2 is Becky Lynch, the man. Finally wins the Elimination Chamber. One more fucking thing to knock off. I think the only thing she hasn't done that's possible for her to do is win Money in the Bank.
Mm.
I think she's won War Games, she's won a Royal Rumble, she's won Elimination Chamber, she's main event at WrestleMania, she's won every title that she's available to win. She's done it all. A Hall of Fame career. So shout out to her for just putting another fucking tick on the docket. And then my number 1 is, Rhea Bloody Ripley. Because
Yeah.
she got Nia Jax up in that fucking riptide. And not early in the match, but I was thinking about this for some reason. Like anytime that a baby face, quote unquote, is wrestling somebody way bigger than them, they go to do like a power move at the very beginning of the match and they can't do it. And then they like will themselves up to do it at the end of the match to win.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about it and I'm like, honestly, it's way harder to do it at the end of the match because you've been out there and you're fucking tired. Like you're probably sore. So for her to be able to get Nia up and do that, man, that was fucking impressive. And shout out to Nia Jax too. Like that was a good match they had.
Yeah, you make a good point though, especially like in video games where you can't pick them up at first and then later on, they're insinuating that I guess since you're beating the opponent up, they're weaker and you can pick them up. That doesn't mean they lose weight. So you made a good point.
Right. As a matter of fact, they're probably heavier because they're weaker because it's like
Yeah,
dead weight now.
yeah. So that's a hell of a point. But yeah, your number 1 is my number 1, really, Rhea Bloody Ripley. But before we move on, going back to your point of Becky not winning the Money in the Bank, I mean, of course she doesn't need the rub, but I just want to see her do it just to, like you said, just to complete that little one more accomplishment. And
Yeah.
as far as the four horsewomen, I know Bailey won it. Is Charlotte and the Mercedes win it?
Mercedes never won any of that shit. She never won Royal Rumble. She never won Elimination. No, I take that back. Her and Bailey won Elimination Chamber as a tag team to win the first tag belts. By the way, probably the best Elimination Chambers women's match there was the tag team Elimination Chamber. That shit slapped. Mandy and Sonya, they arrived that night. Like, I was really disappointed they never got the tag titles after that because they fucking killed it that night. But that was a really good Elimination Chamber match. But yeah, Sasha never won the Rumble. She never won Money in the Bank. She never won a singles Elimination Chamber match. She would just win the title.
Hey, I'm glad she left in disrespecting the black woman. I hope she headlines All In. He didn't deserve a queen like that and let her get any of the shine.
I can see you getting madder. I was like, she never won this, she never won that. I'm glad she fucking left.
Yeah.
I'd have walked out too.
Yeah. Disrespectful. Shout out to Mercedes, formerly known as Sasha Banks.
Bailey's won the fucking. I don't think Charlotte's ever won Money in the Bank, but she's won the Rumble, obviously.
Yeah.
Charlotte's usually
WrestleMania.
She's usually the champion around WrestleMania, so she never has to like qualify.
Yeah. Bullied her way into main event at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
When nobody wanted her in there, but whatever.
We'll talk we kind of hinted at it earlier. The Rock is gonna be at the next 3 SmackDowns.
Yeah, I wasn't completely surprised, but I'm like, this is probably like I was like in and out just because he came back when he came back against Cena. How often was he on Raw back that like 10 years ago during that stint?
When he came, once he was back a lot, probably like at least twice a month. He was back on Raw for Cena. The first time, the second time he had won the title, so he was back fighting with Punk to do a rematch, and then he was back with Cena like every week. So he's pretty much every week the second go round.
Okay, but even 10 years ago, in between that time, Rock has taken his name to a different stratosphere. So for him to string off consecutive SmackDown like this, I would have never thought it. But of course, he's on the board, so it's a little caveat. But we see it from Cena, but Cena still loves this stuff, and I don't think he's as busy as The Rock. So I'm not surprised when he does his little tours when he comes back in the summer. But yeah, I'm surprised that Rock's coming back for these little string of SmackDown shows.
I'm moderately surprised, but he's been saying that he said it. I'm in this for the long haul. He's like, this is the long game. He said that when he first came back. And so people thinking that he was just going to come in and jet out, like to the point where I don't think he's going to be gone after WrestleMania. Like, I think he's going to stick around after that too. He might not be there every week after WrestleMania, but I think he's still going to be a force on TV for probably another year up until next year's WrestleMania. I think originally this year's WrestleMania was supposed to be his peace out, and all that shit happened, and he's just like, "Well, fuck, we'll do my retirement match next year at WrestleMania. We'll let Roman retire me then."
And he's still got to go in the Hall of Fame too.
Yeah.
You know what else is interesting? When I guess when the pandemic happened and they had to reshuffle it, we knew WrestleManias for like 3 years out, and we still don't know where it's gonna happen next year.
I'm pretty confident it'll be Vegas.
Let's hope so. But I heard whispers of Minnesota. Why would they want to do that?
I tell you what, you won't be getting my money in Minnesota.
You ain't catching my black ass there.
Hell no, not since Prince died. He's the only nigga in Minnesota. Him and Kirby Puckett.
True. Yeah.
Kirby Puckett's still alive? I don't even think he's still alive.
Vegas and Minnesota. I don't know.
Right. Like come on, WWE. Like, get your shit together.
Yeah. But like I said, I think you're right. It only makes sense for him to pop in and out over the next year and then, finally have his last match next year. And you got to put him in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, have Triple H in the Hall of Fame and not The Rock.
I don't even get me started on Triple H, that fucking sorry son of a bitch.
Yeah, let's not get you started. Let's move on.
Um, EJ was at Collision.
I
We
was.
briefly touched on this too, man. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but like, in my opinion, AEW is way more fun in person than it is on TV.
Yeah.
Um, was there anything that stood out this week on Collision? Then I want to go to a Collision show so bad. They're taping Collision here on Thursday, so I'm not going to it next week, but I'm going to Dynamite. But I want like a Saturday night Collision here in Atlanta. So is there a difference between Collision and Dynamite, like the as far as the vibe and the feel with the crowd, or
Not really. It's still like your typical AEW crowd. And I don't want to harp on this too much because we always talk about this, but I think the reason is as far as the attendance wise is because they're putting 2 shows on a week. But the lower bowl was full all the way up until the hard camera side. Like nothing was on the hard camera side. Usually you see a little bit on the hard
yeah?
camera side, but nothing. But like I said, I'm not gonna harp on that. We talked about that, but the energy was high from the people who were in there. It was probably only about 2K in there, if that.
I also feel like Missouri's got fucking AEW fatigue, man. They're there every like month or so.
Yeah, but if you think they were in Springfield, it's like a whole different part of the states. You maybe get some like Arkansas people that come in, but it is what it is. The Collision show, it was really good, man. They just put on good matches, and I think that's what Collision is. Just the wrestling show. You know how SmackDown was the wrestling show. I think that's what Collision is shaped up into so far. But
Yeah.
what I will say is, the show was way too long. They filmed Ring of Honor before it. They filmed uh what's it called? Rampage after it, which I know they don't do every time. They usually do Rampage and Dynamite together, but I guess because the pay-per-view next weekend, this coming up Friday's Rampage was shot this past Saturday.
Okay.
And then after that, they filmed RH again.
Did you stay for all of it or?
My dumbass did, because when I went to Collision a few weeks ago, I left after the Collision was over because I had to go watch the UFC pay-per-view. But this time I'm like, what else I have to do? And I was
Yeah.
like tempted to leave in a bunch of times, but I'm like, I'm already here. Dalton
And
Castle main evented the RH, and like half of the crowd left. So it's probably like only like 800 people that stuck around for ROH.
and that's why I want a Collision, because on a Wednesday night, like I'm not staying till 12 o'clock. And then I gotta drive an hour to get back home because they got it in that fucking dump ass arena in Duluth instead of actually Atlanta. But you give me Collision on a Saturday night, man, like even if it's in Duluth, I'll get a hotel out there. Like I'll have a girlfriend meet me out there. We'll make a night out of it, go out drinking or something like that after. Like do something fun. But during the week, I can't be at a fucking wrestling arena for fucking 5 hours and then got to go to work the next morning. Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah, Saturday night's all right for a fight. So next time they're in your town, like you said, you should make a night of it and go. I had a good time, especially for the Collision portion of it.
Yeah.
Uh, I think Brian Danielson, we heard reports that he was sliding in that Punk spot because he's been on Collision a lot, and you say pretty much see him every week on Collision, and he's he's kind of a menace when he's get paired up with Eddie Kingston. He likes to antagonize Eddie Kingston. I know you love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like any other thing, he's like a baby face, but for some reason, Eddie Kingston tickles him the wrong way.
Yeah. Eddie Kingston bring it out of him because he's a dick. He's annoying as hell. Um, I tell you what I don't like. I don't like my girl Anna Jay constantly taking L's lately.
Yeah, I was surprised to see her. Didn't Queen Aminata? I like Queen Aminata though. It's Black
Yeah.
History Month.
I don't mind Queen beating her, but damn, then she lost to Mariah May.
Yeah,
Like, get out of here with that.
yeah.
Ah, if they do what I think they're gonna do and have Mariah May be the one to beat Tony Storm
No,
for the world title, ugh.
it's gotta be Mercedes. Spoiler alert! I know she hasn't officially debuted, but if they don't do that, then Tony doesn't know what he's doing. They got the pieces.
Yeah.
They just
They
need
got
to. They just got to put more than one storyline together at once. And what'll be a telltale sign to see what they do is after Tony beats. Spoiler alert! After Tony beats Deanna this weekend, I want to see what Deanna does after that.
turn heel. You're right though. They'll have a good women's division. Like when Jamie Hayter gets back, when Britt Baker gets back, you'll have Mercedes there. You'll have Tony Storm there. You'll have Deonna Purrazzo there. You'll have Serena Deeb there. You'll have Thunder Rosa. Like they're gonna have a deep women's division. And like you said, it's gonna be up to TK to fucking book it right. Like you got, you got horses that can run, man. You gotta have to let them. Like, and to their credit, they're doing a lot better with having more than one women's storyline going on at once.
Yeah, and they're doing it with Willow and our boy
That's,
Malcolm Bivens.
that's just who I was thinking of was Chris Statlander, Willow, and
They're finally doing a little bit there, and they're doing it a little bit with Saraya and Ruby. So they they're having like little sprinkles. But then what happened to our girl, Julia Hart? She's your champion.
shit, I don't know. You know how AEW is, dog. They'll be on TV over as a motherfucker, and then you won't see the motherfuckers for a month and a half.
So I mean, I see glimmers of it, and I just hope once Mercedes is like kind of like the linchpin, they'll really start honing in on it because this is like a make or break year for them. I'm not saying they're gonna go underneath water and be gone as a company, but Tony said this is the biggest year that is supposed to be up to date. So you got to show and prove. You got these people coming in. It's go time.
You just made a really good point, and I want to touch on that a little bit. I think this is a make or break year for AEW. Like, you look across the street, and there's 15,000 people at house shows for WWE, headlined by the guy that AEW fans and Tony Khan and the Young Bucks and whoever else was involved ran out of the company. Just 2 days ago, I was on my Facebook feed and I went to AEW here in Atlanta. It was at the Phillips Arena. It wasn't at the little 6,000 seat stadium. It was where the Hawks play. And there were people from the bottom row all the way to the top of that stadium. Cody was in the main event against Wardlow in a steel cage. And now they come here to a 6,000 seat arena and they can't even sell it out. I'm not saying one guy leaving is why the attendances went down, but that one guy's across the street and their attendance hasn't been better since the Attitude Era. And for the most part, the biggest star in that company, Roman Reigns, doesn't even do house shows. It's Cody that's doing the house shows because he's been booked correctly. And that is the main thing with AEW is they're not booking correctly. Like they were the new kid on the block for that first year and a half, but I think the honeymoon phase is worn off. And I think this year, Tony needs to get his shit together and they've got to start putting some good stuff together, man. They got to start building up equity with their fan base now. It can't just be we're the alternate to WWE and we'll have 5-star matches and all that. Because as we see, that 5-star match and that over on the internet shit, that only gets you about 750 to 800,000 people watching every week. That only gets you a couple thousand people in the building every week. You're going to need storylines. You're going to need good booking. You're going to need structure. Like, I agree with you, man. This is a big year for AEW. Like, they really got to get their shit together and they got to start getting some positive momentum or their asses won't be on TV.
That's true. We don't know what the network execs are thinking, so they just got to do it brick by brick. You're not going to do it all overnight, like you said. Cody, of course, Cody leaving didn't help, but I think the main thing it might be you put at 1A or 1B. It was how they handled the Punk situation when him and the Bucks got suspended, and it was Vince being thrown out summer 2022. People started like, all right, we didn't like what Vince was doing, and some storylines that make sense. I think a lot of people may have jumped back over. So
I don't 100% agree with that. I think WWE's booking's been good for a few years now before Triple H took over, but Triple H has done better than what was happening. Like he's intertwining a lot of shit now, but the bloodline was under Vince's regime. Like, and that's been the best storyline in the past 30 years.
They had that, But as far as like kind of like just another jolt, especially like when you had the Bray Wyatt, the QR codes, and
Yeah.
like the people's quote unquote NXT darlings moving up. Like you said, it had the bloodline. Of course, they were cooking with that. But I feel like
Kofi Mania was Vince. I'm regardless. I'm not about to sit here and defend that motherfucker. But I think WWE. I think one honestly. I think AEW showing up showed people that WWE wasn't as bad as they tried to make it out to be.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know about that because I mean, like you said, like the zen up of it was like 2 years into it when Adam Cole popped up and Ryan Danielson, and then a week before that, CM Punk popped up. I just think I really do think that brawl out kind of soured a lot of people the way they handled it. It made you choose sides and not be like united as a company, which did not help at all.
Yeah, I think what I meant is people wanted an alternative to WWE, which they had with TNA back in the day, and that went by the wayside. Like TNA was live on Monday nights, going up against Monday Night Raw when they were getting over 1 million people watching, right? And eventually, you just see that WWE's like the NFL. They're when it comes to wrestling, they're the gold standard, right? And people were complaining and bitching and moaning because John Cena was on top and it's the same old shit, blah blah blah. WWE hasn't changed much. They still don't cuss a lot. They still don't do gratuitous violence. They still aren't overly sexualized unless you watch NXT. Um, they still don't have a lot of blood like what everybody wants. AEW does all that, and they're not getting the numbers. And I think AEW came around, people saw the new kid on the block, and then they realized maybe the grass ain't greener. Maybe storylines are better. Maybe the production value and the money that's put into the product is better when it's done one way. I think AEW actually helped WWE. I really do. In a weird way, I think AEW because WWE wasn't doing nearly as good as they're doing right now 5 years ago before AEW.
I don't know if any way we can measure that. Maybe the pandemic too. People were happy to go
Yeah.
back out to live shows. So maybe a combination of a little bit of everything. But I think I think that's the charm about AEW is that they do more blood and things that WWE do, but they just need to add more things on, and that shouldn't be like your number one selling point. That like adds to it. You still gotta build other stuff besides that because it'll get repetitive after a while.
Somebody at NXT's been listening to Boot to the Face, EJ. What's one
What
of the main things? What's a weird thing NXT does every week that we talk about? They have a camera where?
in the locker room,
In whose locker room?
the women's locker room.
All of a sudden, unless I've just never paid attention, there's just five random dudes in a weight room lifting weights and doing stretches and shit, like all by themselves on NXT now. They just went from like guy to guy to guy, like filming them while they're all standing there getting ready for their match.
I don't, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. I know they've done men locker room before, but not lifting weights and stuff. So they listening.
All right, let's get to this Revolution prediction.
Yes, sir. Did you have it up?
I did not.
Uh,
Um,
AEW Revolution taking place in Greensboro, which you will be at this weekend.
I will be there.
What day you getting there?
Saturday morning. I've been checking to see if they're gonna have some kind of meet and greet or some kind of thing. I think it would be a shame if they didn't. Um,
Yeah,
but it's Tuesday. Like, announce the shit already.
they should. So what I'm looking at, I don't think they have these matches in order, and I don't think they probably will until the actual card happens. So I guess I'll start from the bottom where they have it listed at the last one.
What website are you on?
I'm on Wikipedia.
Uh, Here, I'm gonna go to AEW's website.
But it's
Here we
so
go.
far it's 9 matches on here.
Yeah, that's what I got also. So I'll start with how AEW has it listed.
Okay.
The Meat Madness match. Wardlow, Will Hobbs, and Lance Archer in a triple threat match. Um,
Another guy that just pops up and pops back out and randomly, and Lance Archer, like, what are they doing with him?
I thought they missed the boat with him like 2 years ago when he fought Moxley for the title. Not that he should have won the title, but it was such a good match, and they had just had a match in New Japan also. I thought he could have at least been TNT champion.
Man, they
But
got like 3 big card belts. So
yeah, I think that ship sailed though with him.
hmm. I mean, with that promo, we didn't talk about that. Was that Warlow's best promo ever?
Oh, no doubt. I thought he was good. I thought he's really good. I thought he did just enough inside information talking about Punk and stuff like that, but it wasn't too insidey. Like I like stuff like that that walks the line of telling you backstage shit and talking about other people without like mentioning them. But like we all know when you say I fucking destroyed the best in the world, you're talking about Punk. And then it'd be like his body still hadn't recovered since I whooped his ass. Like that's a good line. Um, I thought that was Wardlow's best work, and for that reason, I think Wardlow's winning this match. You can't cut a promo like that then lose on the first pay-per-view.
Exactly. That's why I'm giving Warlow the nod too. He's gonna pin Lance Archer. Our boy Hobbs can't take the pin, man.
God damn, this is gonna be a long show. Fuck me.
All right.
I'm gonna have to take a nap.
9 matches ain't that bad.
It
They've done
starts
like
at 8 o'clock.
they've done like 12 match cards before. So
Sting ain't gonna get out there till 11:30. Sting might need a nap.
that's past his bedtime.
Next up, FTR versus Moxley and Claudio. I'm digging this.
Yeah, that's gonna be a banger, just like they had on Dynamite. Um, I'm not the first to mention this, so I don't want to take credit. I've heard other people talk about this, but when they do, I like how they do what you call it, time limit draws, because like you don't see that a lot nowadays, and they don't AW doesn't even do it often, even though they just did it with Strickland and Hangman Page. But when they do it, you know they're gonna do it because you hear them announce the time. Why not announce the time for every match so you don't know when it's gonna be a time limit draw? It's just little
Or
little simple things like that.
or just are you talking about right before the match starts or throughout the
Throughout the
match?
match, when you
Yeah,
hear it throughout the match, you know it's gonna be a time. Either
I
don't
think they
say it at
did it.
all or do it for every match.
Yeah, I think you do it at the beginning of the match. This match, when they're introducing everybody, this match is for one fall with a 22-minute time or whatever, right? And then you don't say 3 minutes remaining. You don't need to do that. Just
Yeah.
fucking ring the bell. And people be like, what the fuck is going on? Because this way, like you said, it takes away the element of surprise. Because it's been done like that for 30 years. Sting and Ric Flair, they kept saying 15 minutes remaining. And it was like, why do they keep saying that shit? And yeah, it amps up the hurry up and win before the time limit's over, but you kind of know after you've seen enough of them. So I agree with you. Just announce it at the beginning and don't say shit else until the time limit's up.
But with that being said, man, I'm gonna I'm gonna go with BCC. I think they're gonna do some like despicable things, some despicable violence in the match and win it. This is a toss up though.
I'm gonna go with FTR because we're gonna need some tag teams to get a little bit of momentum after Sunday night.
Okay.
Next up, we got the TNT Championship, Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia.
So with all of these mid card titles, all of the mid card champions need to lose their belt soon. And if you don't put the belt on Garcia now, I don't know when you are. Christian doesn't need this belt. You could go into a double or nothing. Him and Edge is a blood feud. They don't need the title with that one. So I'm gonna go with my boy Daniel Garcia. He's got a little momentum. He cut a good promo the other week or so. So I'm gonna go with my boy Daniel Garcia.
I'm gonna go with Christian Cage.
Huh? How come?
I don't like Daniel Garcia.
Oh, well, fair enough.
He reminds me of one of them dudes from Blood In, Blood Out.
I've never seen the movie.
No, it wasn't Blood In, Blood Out. What's the one where it's a white dude and he goes to prison and he's playing a Hispanic, he's in a Hispanic family even though he looks white. American Me, is that it?
Maybe.
He reminds me of somebody off of that movie. And I don't like him.
Huh? Yeah, you like what you like. I think a young, I think a young talent needs the mid card title. Christian's a made man.
He just like I think a young talent needs to defeat a veteran, but Rucker thinks that he looks like somebody off American Me, so he can't win.
Hey, he said
It
that
is what it
very
is.
eloquently.
My boy, Will Ospreay. I gotta make sure I'm sober for this match. Taking on Konosuke Takeshita.
Man, this is gonna be the first time you've seen him since you saw him all the way back, like in what 2018, before he was really Osprey.
Yeah, man. I hope he
This is-
cuts a promo too, bro. Actually, I saw him at AEW here. He just did a promo though, him and Jericho.
uh,
He didn't wrestle.
so
When
yeah,
he cut that promo about like taking care of his girlfriend's kid and shit like that. That was here in Georgia.
they need to be very careful where they put this match, because I think this is going to be the show stealer right here. Takeshita could go. We all know what Osprey does. He's probably the number one in-ring guy in the world. He put that bang on at Rev Pro, so anybody gets a chance, go watch that. Uh, yeah, you can't have Osprey, because Osprey's been doing the job like on his like little farewell tour. Didn't he face Okada at the first New Japan show,
Ooh,
Wrestle Kingdom?
Okada's going too though.
Yeah, that's why that's interesting that he took the loss. He lost in the Bullet Club versus United Empire cage match. He lost in Rev Pro. So
It's
I think,
crazy how they do that. How they're like, "Oh, you're leaving? We're gonna make you lose." Like,
yeah,
like how Vince tried to do Moxley when he left, like had him losing the fucking EC3 and shit like that. It's like,
ooh,
guess what? We're still gonna like love him when he comes back as John Moxley. Like you making him lose on TV is just you being a petty bitch right now. And I feel like that with all these companies that do that.
got a point. But yeah, I think Osprey is going to go on a crazy streak now that he's in
Oh
AEW,
yeah.
and Tony Khan seemed to love him. He was popped up in that Rev Pro crowd with like a crowd of like 1,000 people, being a mark. But I'm gonna go Osprey, and like I said, they need to be careful where they put this match. I think this should kick off the show and then keep the momentum going. Because if you put this like third to last, I think the crowd's gonna be burnt out.
I think if they run the card how they have it listed right now, this is the perfect spot for it because after this are all title matches.
Okay,
And I think this is sandwiched in between Garcia and Christian and Daniel Bryan and Eddie Kingston. This is in the middle of that. So I think the crowd will be still into Bryan and Kingston after that match. So we won't have time to come down because it's title match after title match after title match after that.
yeah. The earlier in the card, the better. So I wouldn't be mad if they had it like you just said.
Yeah. I got Osprey in this one though. Eddie Kingston defends the Continental Crown Championship against Bryan Danielson. I got my boy Bryan Danielson winning.
I don't think he wins by pinfall or submission if he wins, because he goes off the rail and or Eddie Kingston goes off the rail and disqualified or something. I don't think Danielson wants the title.
Oh, he's gonna have one.
I don't think he needs it. So I'm gonna go with Kingston just based off of that. But like I said, Kingston needs to lose this. It's got so many young talent that could use a title like that, and Kingston's already over with the AEW fans. He doesn't need it. So I'm gonna go with Kingston to win it, but he needs to lose it soon.
It's a shame they only have one women's match on this card, though.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. Um, the International Championship, Orange Cassidy defends against Roderick Strong. I got OC winning. He can't. Roderick Strong is just not. No.
Roderick Strong, I wouldn't say he doesn't need it, but he doesn't need it. I mean, Of course, he's not as over as he could be, but I said younger, like homegrown talent needs it. I think OC wins it as well. You he needs the OC doesn't OC's the main man at this point. Like you got so many. Like this would be a perfect title for our boy Jay White. I don't know what they're doing with this little weird faction they got with the Bang Bang Gang or whatever. Jay White is the leader of the faction. The international title would be perfect for him. Have the Ass Boys and Juice win the trios belts and have the faction run like that. But I digress. I got OC.
Fucking choking over here.
Are you good, dog?
AEW Women's Championship. Deonna Purrazzo versus Toni Storm.
I mean, I like the Virtuosa, but she's not winning this title. I got Timeless Tony stretching her out.
Even in the graphic, they got Tony in black and white.
That's what on Dynamite you saw they had like one side of the screen black and white. See, that's something that they're doing good production wise.
Been waiting on them to do that, and I thought that was phenomenal. I got Toni Storm also. AEW World Championship, Hangman Page, Samoa Joe, and Swerve Strickland. I'm gonna pick Samoa Joe to win this, but I really hope they pull the trigger and give it to Swerve.
This is tough, man. Joe, like Joe, it's good that he got the title, but I don't think he necessarily needed it. Like I said, you should be focusing on young talent to take, the step in the right direction. But yeah, like you said, I think Joe wins it. But Swerve needs to win soon. Maybe it's gonna be double or nothing. But just the way it's a triple threat match, I think Joe takes advantage of that and Swerve, Hangman beating the hell out of each other. And I think Joe retains.
The main event, AEW World Tag Team Championship, Tornado Tag. The Young Bucks. I'm sorry, they're not even billed as the Young Bucks. They're billed as the AEW EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, taking on your World Tag Team Champions, Darby Allin, and the man they call Sting. There ain't no way in hell Sting and Darby Allin losing this match.
Man, it's crazy, man. What 40 plus year career, all coming
Almost
to
40.
end,
Yep.
coming to end this weekend. It's crazy. I mean, we could probably do a whole nother show on just talking about Sting. It's crazy. It's coming to an end, and this has to be the main event, right?
They got it built as the main event on here. It's the last match on the graphic.
It's gonna be fun, man.
Well, technically, it's the first match on the graphic, and the last match is the Will Hobbs and Wardlow match. So I'm guessing they posted it in reverse order for how they're gonna run it.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be a fun time for all the people to see it and in person. Sting's last hoorah was witnessing history. I just think, man, Sting's just too old school of a person. I think the EVPs are gonna win it and carry it over to what they're doing next. It's gonna be sad. So we're on opposite sides of the spectrum on this one. I think the Bucks win, which hurts my heart because I'm a huge Sting fan.
I think Tony's gonna talk Sting and look, man, you're undefeated. You're gonna retire undefeated in AEW. You'll be the only AEW person to ever come in, retire as a champion, be undefeated. You didn't get your flowers leaving out of WCW. You left TNA on bad terms. You left WWE on bad terms through no fault of your own. Like, we want to take care of you and treat you like a fucking icon that you are. We let you handle all of this. The one thing I'm going to tell you got to do is you got to win.
Yeah, if anybody wanted to win, it would be Tony, as much of a fan he is, but I don't know. I just think Sting loses. On WCW, wasn't it the last match on WCW television, him and Flair?
Yeah, when I say left on bad terms, I mean just like WCW was a clusterfuck by then.
It was.
And then TNA, he had like fallen out with management because he didn't really like where they were going, and WWE kind of like fucked him over. Then he got injured. But excuse me, I'll say this, and I want to always make a point to say this because anytime AEW does something wrong, I make a point to pull that out. They've booked Sting better than WWE could have fucking dreamed of. Like they've actually treated Sting like the fucking star that he is, and they've done no wrong by him. They put him in positions to win. WWE didn't. Like there hasn't been one time the Sting's wrestled for AEW in these 28, 29 matches that he's had where I was like, why the fuck is he doing this? Every time it always made sense. He's got along with all the wrestlers. Like he's had crazy moments. Like him and Orange Cassidy doing their little thing. The match with the Young Bucks where they super kicked him and he fucking no sold it. Like getting power bombed by Brian Cage when we thought he would probably die if that ever happened. They put him in position to win every time. And I just want to, I want, if they ain't did nothing right, they've done the Stinger right.
Yeah,
Can't
so
book the women, but they can book the icon.
hey, yeah, just got to give props where props is due on how things been booked, and I'm sure we're gonna see something crazy this weekend with him as well. So,
I might not be able to get through next week's show.
hey, we'll do our best. But you got your idea what you're gonna do with the face paint? I know you're thinking half and half.
Yeah, I'm gonna do half Crow and half Surfer Sting. I might have
Got
to shave, actually.
nice. Yeah.
um, I'm going to Dynamite Wednesday. I don't know what your schedule is, but if you want, we could push the show back to Thursday. I don't know if you're recording Haymaker then,
No,
but
we record on Tuesdays.
yeah, if you wanted to do that, we could push it back a couple days. That way, I could talk about both shows as opposed to waiting, a whole week before I talk about Dynamite.
No.
We'll play it by ear. We'll see what happens or how I'm feeling because I might be too drunk or hungover to fucking.
TBA
Yeah, but
or
you
TBD,
got
my bad, to be determined.
you got anything else you want to get out there, EJ, before we get out of here?
Nah, man. Shout out to everybody that's listening and watching on YouTube. And well, if you are subscribed to the old Spotify, I don't know how you be hearing this, but we got two Spotify feeds, so you need to search for the new one if you listen on Spotify. So make sure to do that.
Well, our new Spotify link is on our link tree.
Okay.
So all of our link tree is updated besides Apple Music. But if you were subscribed to our Apple Podcast, that feed is back up and running. So everything on our link tree is up to date. So go to our link tree if you're following us on YouTube and you want to get us in. If you can't just sit around and watch us for 2 hours on YouTube and you want to listen to it at work, check out our link tree. Join our Discord. Give us a like on all our social medias. Put a good little reel out there yesterday, and it's got a lot of traction. I think it's got like 100 likes on it already. Like I don't think we've ever had something like that.
Yeah. It says a review.
The no, the reel.
Oh,
I put a reel out yesterday. It's like a girl. She's like, "You want to know why he's not texting you back?" And it was me at WrestleMania when Stone Cold came out. It's got like thousands of views though. Like people have been sharing it with other people and shit. Like for a while, my phone was just fucking blowing up last night after I posted. I was excited about that.
it's the real IG.
Yep, the
Right.
first one that's there.
And our TikTok is getting thousands of views, so I need to get back on that.
I
It's just
wanted to,
it's time consuming, but I'll get back on
yeah.
it.
This idea that I posted this reel actually came from TikTok, but TikTok made it so hard to do a stitch. Like it was so many directions that came with it. And Instagram was just like, put this here, and bam, bam, bam. There it was. So I was like, all right, well, I guess that's what I'm gonna do. But shout out to everybody that's been sharing us on social media. Like EJ said, check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, all your favorite podcast platforms. If you're getting this on YouTube, if you're getting this on audio, please like us on YouTube. We could use all the subscribers we can on there. And we're headed towards WrestleMania. WrestleMania t-shirt week's coming up pretty soon. I got to figure out what kind of giveaway I'm gonna do for that. But we'll talk about that in the next week or so. But it's AEW Revolution Week. Hopefully y'all tune in. For EJ Reed, I'm Chris Rucker. This has been Boot to the Face. Peace.
Yeah, they got it bumping. Leg drop, boot to the face, we won't fold. Quick to put a dude in